What's so great about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is that there are mechanics in this game that you may come across after 20 hours of gameplay, or you could stumble across just after 2 hours into the game. Here are 10 more tips and tricks for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle fans that I wish I knew sooner, hopefully making your gameplay experience more advanced and even efficient. While in combat in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, you can punch, block, push, and even, yes, kick. In order to pull off kicking a fascist in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, while in combat, aim your vision down at or below the knee of the enemy you're fighting. Once you've changed your aim, instead of punching using the right or left triggers, you'll be kicking your enemy in the knee or shins. Kicking was a surprise and useful mechanic I discovered, especially useful when your enemy is on guard covering their face, because a kick actually stuns them and opens up their face for an uppercut or the classic Indiana right cross. So yeah, kicking is another option you have in your combat repertoire. Speaking of combat, the Great Circle allows you to carry Indy's iconic pistol, which comes in clutch during shootouts, but also comes in clutch during melee fights, where by pressing X, you can rotate your pistol, changing your grip to use as a melee weapon. This comes in handy when you run out of ammo and you can't find an object to use as a weapon during a melee fight, which is something Indy would do. He would change that grip and find a resourceful way of using his gun if he ran out of bullets. But just be careful, the gun will eventually break if you use it too many times as a melee weapon.
This is how it's done!
Staying on melee combat, when fighting as Indy and you correctly time your block or parry, immediately counter with a punch from the opposite side of your block or parry using either the right or left trigger. For example, if an enemy punches you with their right hand to your left, block and immediately counter with your right punch using the right trigger. The enemy will be open for a second, so it's a great opportunity to maximize your melee hand-to-hand combat. I found it useful when dealing with multiple foes, allowing me to immediately move on to the next foe after the blocking counter of the first. If you don't block and counter punch from the opposite side, you'll simply push the enemy away, wasting, honestly, an opportunity for a free hit, putting you right back to square one. So pay attention to how the enemy is swinging at you with their punches. It's a great and advanced way to maximize your combat. If you want to maximize your stealth and want to get to a certain area secretly and discreetly, but at a faster pace, you can do so by sliding in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. To do this, all you have to do is run and hit the B button on the Xbox controller, and you'll immediately slide to the next location that you need to be. Again, useful in stealth and when running away from fights that you might have started while on enemy grounds. Another way to get away from enemies is to fast travel to another area in that vicinity. Yes, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle allows you to fast travel by simply looking up at the locational signs mounted on the poles throughout the map, giving you multiple options and locations to fast travel to by simply looking at the name of the location and holding down the button shown on the platform of your choice. I've discovered that a lot of players didn't know this was an option based on my comment section below, and I myself didn't know until hours into the game. Fast travel is particularly helpful when looking to complete your journal, mysteries, discoveries, and more at a more expedient rate. Something else I also didn't know until a couple hours into the Great Circle was you can smash open certain lockboxes in game. So you have the Nazi chest that will have a 4-digit code, and even the safes that also have a 4-digit code, but there's also specific lockboxes found on desks that usually don't have a code, but have a very obvious lock. A lock that when using a blunt weapon can be broken into, rewarding you with $120. The trick is to identify the boxes first. Once you know what they look like and find one, the game usually will have a weapon nearby that you can use to open the box and collect the cash. There will be a little indicator for you while using the blunt weapon and staring at the locked box. That little white dot will turn red, letting you know you can break open that specific lockbox. Honestly, it's a great way to make an absurd amount of money in such an easy way. Another thing I did not know was the medicine bottles found all over the Vatican, for example, can be used to buy upgrade books from the Vatican pharmacy. Yes, those medicine bottles, once collected, you can use as currency to upgrade your overall health and overall stamina, which is so clutch and very useful before you start to head to other locations within the game outside of the Vatican. So be sure to visit the local pharmacy, talk to the nurse there, and you'll be able to find upgrades for your health and stamina. When looking for specific locations to photograph using the awesome camera feature, look for another box ring that will pop up, guiding you to specific photo location nearby. I found this indicator very useful when I would get lost trying to identify the photo opportunity given once I got the icon for the camera in the top left. Same with the take photo prompt, which pops up once precisely on the photograph location the game is asking you to take. In our early tips videos, I encouraged you to prioritize exploring due to Bethesda and MachineGames rewarding the player's curiosity through upgrades, money, and adventure points. With the adventure points rewarding anywhere from 15 to even 30 with each book, memo, letter, and card found on your journey. If you're trying to get way more adventure points after using them to upgrade Indiana Jones, then try the mysteries and discoveries in Indy's journal. These specific tasks under those categories will reward 100 to even 300 adventure points. Granted, it does take longer than finding a book or taking a photo, but it's the fastest way to get that amount of adventure points together. Plus, you'll sometimes be rewarded with side stories and cutscenes that even expand the main story narrative. Seriously, knock out those side quests in your journal. Your upgrades will thank you. These last tips are from the comment section on my last tips and tricks video, courtesy of this awesome community. And I quote, "The best advice is to play the main story until you get all the disguises for each level and then do all the extra content. Trust me, it makes everything so much easier and funner," according to this specific comment, which I honestly agree. Coming back to a spot after you've leveled up per se, especially when having all the disguises, is far more enjoyable and less stressful when forcing the issue without the disguise for that certain quest you're trying to knock out. But until then, I hope these 10 tips I wish I knew sooner helps your gameplay and overall experience while playing this awesome game, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Just like our last video, comment below your tips, and while down there, be sure to check out our playthrough on the channel by subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss out on any posts coming for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I want to thank you guys so much for watching the video and just hanging out with you, boy. And thank you specifically to the Patronus Squad for making videos like this possible. We couldn't do it without you. Your support is greatly appreciated. I've been James of XpectoGO, bringing you guys the latest and greatest in fun and positive gaming content. I'll see you guys around the globe. Until next time.